blows by Derek Cope. Earnhardt pulls up alongside Hut Strickland.
Trying to take the lead away. All the drafting help is on the outside lane. Earnhardt's got nobody with him for 5 or 6 car lengths till you get back to Sterling Marlin. Still he's able to stay alongside. Now Strickland nudges out in front of him.
Dale Earnhardt goes back about a half a car length now as he shuffles down to the bottom of the racetrack, picking up some drafting help from Michael Waltrip. But now Earnhardt strong on the inside, makes a move for the lead off turn 4.
If you ever wanted to watch a race car work, when you hear a driver talk about my car is not working, Earnhardt's car is working. He can drive it right out against the wall as we saw through 3 and 4. We watched him that time pin it right to the bottom of the racetrack. It's not over. They may get 3 deep on the front row back in turn 1.
Michael Waltrip sits right behind Earnhardt looking for a chance to go underneath, but Earnhardt's right down to the white line. No more room there. So Waltrip falls back in line in single file. For now, Earnhardt left to battle with Derek Cope as Hut Strickland leads.
Hut Strickland all by himself on the outside, then Derek Cope, then about a car length back to Rusty Wallace. On the inside lane, it's Earnhardt and Michael Waltrip. Now Dale Jarrett on the charge for 5th.
Derek Cope loses 2 positions now as he tries to shuffle back in line. Michael Waltrip trying to take the 3rd place away, but here comes Cope to the outside. He puts his Ford to the high side, the Pennzoil Pontiac to the inside, battle for 3rd off turn 4.
This is just a heck of a race here. I mean, 2 by 2, everybody looking and waiting and watching. Now Jeff Gordon from further back. He'll make it 3 wide, going by both the Ted Musgrave and Brett Bodine cars. He'll work his way to the front while it's double wide for the lead.
Earnhardt goes to the inside of Hut Strickland again. Strickland sees him coming, blocks the move. Earnhardt goes up the banking a bit. Now right behind them, Dale Jarrett's on the move. To the inside of Michael Waltrip he goes, and Sterling Marlin comes by. Michael Waltrip breaks loose off turn 2. The car goes spinning down to the inside. Rusty Wallace flips 1, 2, 3 times. The car turns gyrations down the back straightaway, still spinning. Finally coming to a rest about halfway down the back straightaway. The cars involved Michael Waltrip down to the inside, Derek Cope involved, and Rusty Wallace badly mangled Pontiac here on the back straightaway.
Rusty Wallace's car got off in the grass and dug into the sand apparently and went end over end at least 4 or 5 times. Sheet metal flies everywhere. The car has come to rest out on the apron of the racetrack, and the safety crews are there immediately. Let's go back to the backstretch.
Rusty Wallace's car again about halfway down the back straightaway, one of the wildest rides we've seen in a long time. It looks similar to the situation yesterday in the Busch Grand National race when Todd Bodine's car broke loose. It looked like he gathered it back in. In this case, it was Michael Waltrip's car that broke loose. Looks like he had it gathered back in, but just off the corner, the rear end began to come around. When it did, it collected all these other cars, and of course they dove to the inside to get away. Derek Cope moved down to the inside and rolled over to the berm here that separates the racetrack from Lake Lloyd. His car there being attended to by safety personnel, and the wildest ride of all again by Rusty Wallace as he ended up about halfway down the back straightaway.
And Eli and I were sitting here in the booth taking a look in the backstretch, seeing that accident. Reminded us of I don't remember how many years ago it was, but Rusty Wallace almost took that identical ride right out of turn number 2 as the safety crews continue to work on his car.
I want to say it was the first year that we had the cars downsized, and I might be incorrect on that, but that is what I believe. Again, Michael Waltrip broke loose as Derek Cope tried to get by. That's why Rusty Wallace got out of shape. He had to avoid first one car, then a second car, and then as the car got onto the grass and the asphalt both, it was, as Joe Moore said, a many-time barrel roll down the back straightaway.
Eli, an update from the back straightaway. Rusty Wallace has walked away from his race car. He has just climbed from the car and walked to the ambulance. Good news for Rusty.
That is the kind of crash that is so scary to see that car go airborne and flip end over end, but it is sometimes it can be the best kind of crash you can be in. And let me explain why. As long as that car is rolling, turning, not hitting anything, not stopping instantly, it bleeds off all that energy. If you remember a few years ago when Richard Petty had the severe crash coming off turn number 4 and the car tumbled end over end, side over side, but it never hit anything solid to really, the impact was not that severe, I guess. And Darrell Waltrip had the same type of crash in the backstretch here at Daytona a couple of years ago. But to look at it, it is a frightening sight to watch that car literally trying to tear itself to pieces, and that's exactly what it did coming down the backstretch. The great news is, again, Rusty Wallace walks away from it. Let's give all the credit in the world of NASCAR for putting the safety factors in these cars, that roll cage and everything else that they require in a Winston Cup stock car.
A scary moment, but now with 30 laps to go, the fact that Rusty Wallace is all right will allow us to again focus our attention on the remaining laps of this Daytona 500 by STP. Dale Earnhardt leads. Dale Jarrett is second. Hut Strickland runs in third. Fourth is now the Sterling Marlin car, and running in fifth after that gutsy three-wide move here through the tri-oval is Jeff Gordon. Warren, you asked me before what next. I don't think we could have anticipated that, but again, the news was good that Rusty Wallace walked from his Pontiac to the ambulance. He has already been taken to the infield care center where Winston Kelly is standing by. Winston?
Well, Derek Cope has just pulled behind the wall. He was involved in the accident. First, Derek, we can tell you're okay. What happened?
Well, we were all just bundled up there in turn two there, and we come up off the corner, and Michael, got up in front of me, and, we just got to push from behind, I got just in the back of Michael, and we couldn't stop, and he got sideways, and then we tried to get out of the way, and then, I clipped Rusty as he come by.
The good news is Derek Cope is okay. We talked to Max Helton, who's a minister and travels the Winston Cup circuit with us. He said he talked to Rusty Wallace as they rolled him into the infield care center, said he was alert. He knew what he was, had all his faculties together, talked to him, so they took him in there for a mandatory checkup. We did attempt to talk to Kyle Petty. He came directly from the racetrack on the back of one of the security motorcycles and went into the rig of the Mellow Yellow Pontiac. He's back there talking to his car owner, Felix Sabatis, and understandably wants a few minutes to just get his thoughts together after having the quickest car here most of the week, the pole sitter for the Daytona 500. So we'll still try to get a comment from both Kyle Petty and Rusty Wallace.
Now you got to stop and think. Kyle had a lot of reasons to be upset. We haven't talked about it today, but his car owner, Felix Sabatis, posted $1 million bonus for him if he won this race, in addition to everything else that goes with the race itself. And you can understand, as I said, if you got a car like he's had all day long, certainly he and Earnhardt probably, if I had to pick two cars, it looked to be the cream of the crop, not putting anybody else down. Those would be the two, and to watch it all go up in smoke like that, how could you not be upset?
Certainly you're upset, and then nobody knows what's going on in the other man's car. Bobby Hillen told us he had no brakes. He was on the pedal to the floor. Kyle apparently, at least from what Bobby Hillen told us, feels differently. Well, hopefully we'll get a comment from someone on that Mellow Yellow team a bit later on. 35 lead changes among 13 drivers. 7 caution flags now for 30 laps, an average speed of 153.469 miles an hour. With 9 drivers out of the race, the remaining 32 are set to settle this Daytona 500 by STP. Just 28 laps to go.